कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन् इति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Hare Krishna, we'll be discussing Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 1, text 24. Sanjaya Uvacha एवम् उक्तो हृषीकेशो गुडाकेशेन भारत सेनयोरुभयोर्मध्ये स्थापयित्वा रथोत्तमम्. So Sanjaya said to Dhritarashtra, so Arjuna, he asked Krishna to draw the chariot between the two parties so that he can see who is on the other side supporting Duryodhana. And as instructed, Evam Uktaha Hrishikeshaha, Krishna, who is being called as Hrishikesha, having been told by Gudhakeshena, Arjuna, who is being called as Gudhakesha, Senayor Ubhayor Madhye, in between the two Senas, Senayor Ubhayor Madhye, in between them, Sthapayitva Radhottamam, he stood or he had this chariot stand between these two armies, the Radhottamam, the finest of the chariots. He placed it in between the two parties. Now, in this verse, Arjuna is being called as Gudhakesha. Gudhakesha means two things. Guda means sleep, Gudaka, or it also means ignorance. Sleep also means ignorance. Gudak Esha means one who has conquered sleep, or it also means one who has conquered ignorance. And Prabhupada mentions about that, about Arjuna. Arjuna conquered both sleep and ignorance because of his friendship with Krishna. As a great devotee of Krishna, he could not forget Krishna even for a moment because that is the nature of a devotee. Like Prabhupada one time he explained, so there is a sun, you are standing in the sunlight. Let's say you put your palm like this. The sun is hitting the palm, but this side of the palm, there is shadow or darkness, isn't it? Even though there is ample sunlight, you turned your face of the palm away from the sun, therefore there is darkness. But if you turn your palm towards the sun, there can never be darkness. It's always in the light. So therefore, sun is like, Krishna is like the sun, and we are like this palm. So unmukha means we are facing towards Krishna. Vimukha Chetasa means facing away from Krishna. So those who are Krishna conscious, because they always face towards Krishna or they remain conscious of Krishna, who is light, who is knowledge, there can never be darkness. And that's what here Prabhupada explains about Arjuna, who is the friend of Krishna. Therefore, he was never in sleep or darkness. Even it is said, our six Goswamis, Sri Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunath, Sri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath, the six Goswamis of Vrindavan, they conquered the sleep and even food. So it is said in Shad Goswami Ashtakam, Nidrahara viharakadi vijitau chatyantadinau chayau. That means Nidrahara viharakadi vijitau. They have conquered Vijitau, Nidrahara Vihara, sleep, food, and so called Vihara means sense enjoyment. And they became meek and humble in practicing Krishna consciousness. Kaupina Kantashritau, wearing just a loin cloth. In Srimad Bhagavatam, the sleep is compared to a very interesting analogy. Like the Bhagavatam says, Sukadeva Goswami tells Parikshit Maharaj in fifth canto, he tells Parikshit Maharaj, sleep is exactly like a python. Very dangerous, isn't it? So, sleep is like the python, and whoever is in this material world is considered to be wandering in this forest where this python is there. This python of sleep is there. So, being bitten by this python, they always remain in the darkness of ignorance. See, that is our position. We are in this forest of material life where this the sleep is considered this python, and we are always being devoured by this python of sleep, and we are always in this ignorance. And those people are like the dead bodies thrown in a distant forest. Thus, the conditioned souls cannot understand what is going on in life. So, to that shloka, Prabhupada gave this purport where he says this material life means being fully absorbed in eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. Out of these, sleep is taken very seriously. So, one considers sleep as everything. In the modern day, if you are able to sleep more, you enjoyed more. Oh, I slept till 12 o'clock. I woke up at 12 o'clock. In our college, they used to say, oh, you woke up so early in the day? Oh, see how I woke up at 12 o'clock directly for lunch. So they consider that to be great enjoyment. Of course, in this day, getting a sleep is also getting very difficult. So to be able to have a good sleep is considered great source of enjoyment. Prabhupada gives this story of this postman in Calcutta in those days. So he would go to this place, Dalhousie Square, and then he would come back late in the afternoon, and his boss would ask him, oh, why it became late for you today? And he would say, oh, I couldn't find this man, I couldn't find this house, I had to go, I have to drive, I had to walk a lot, so it took a lot of time and all of that. So he would give all these excuses. And but actually what he was doing, he would go there and he would just sleep for a couple of hours and he would come back. So Prabhupada said he thinks that by sleeping 2 hours, he has gained that much time because that much less time he is working. So he thinks that as a greater gain. So that is the mentality of a conditioned soul. So here Prabhupada in this purport of that Srimad Bhagavatam shloka, he says, for spiritual realization, one should try to avoid sleep as much as possible. The Goswamis of Vrindavana practically did not sleep at all. Of course, they slept some, for the body required sleep, but they slept only about 2 hours and sometimes not even that. Following in the footsteps of the Goswamis, we should try to reduce sleeping, eating, mating, and defending. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, one of our acharyas, he has written this song, beautiful song. Jeev jago, Gaura chand bole, kota nidra javo maya, pishachi rakhole. So he says, oh Jeev, Jeev means he's calling us living entities. So Jiva, Jago, wake up. One may think, oh, I'm already awake, isn't it? We are all awake. We are not sleeping. Why is he asking us to wake up? Jeev Jago, Jeev Jago. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is urging, calling out, Jago, Jago. Gora Chand bole. Why he is asking us, even if we are awake, to wake up? Like some time ago, we were in a plane um, a few days back, and this man, he was sitting next to us, and he was right from the time we boarded the plane to the time we got down. He was constantly working on his laptop, and he would call, and before the plane started to uh, you know get in the air, he would call somebody and he would busily message to utilize the time, because they would ask them, because the network will go out of connection, and he would message, he would call, he would do so many things just to utilize the time. And then he, throughout the plane, he was working and he was opening things, and uh, I was looking at his calendar, it's fully busy. Of course, he's being materially productive. Prabhupada says that either you should be materially productive or spiritually productive. But even if you are materially productive, the Shastra says you should question for what purpose you're working. If you are not able to work towards your Atma Tattva, realize your Atma Tattva, at the end of this working, if you are apashyatam Atma Tattvam gruheshu gruhamedhinam, if you are working only for the purpose of your bodily existence, which is what the gruhamedhis do, who are addicted to this bodily and family sense gratification, that is apashyatam Atma Tattvam. They cannot understand the ultimate reality. Like there was this man who was fighting with his wife. They were from a poor background, and this man had a good job. I mean, that was the only surviving job. And he was asked, the wife came to wake him up because he was getting late for work and he would get in trouble if he doesn't go to work. But he was fighting with his wife. And the wife said, no, you only asked me to wake you up, otherwise you'll be in trouble. And then the husband started to hurl all abuses. You're spoiling my happiness. After a long trouble, I have built this skyscraper and you are taking me away from that, and you're berefting me of all this happiness. So basically, this man was dreaming. He built a skyscraper in his dream, and then the wife came suddenly and woke him up to reality. Now it's time for work. And then this man, he was chastising his wife for breaking that illusion. So, in other words, you may work so hard, but if it is going to end with your body, in this man's case, it's going to end at the end of his sleep because it's a dream. But even if we work hard throughout our life, it'll end with our body, how much ever hard work we do. Therefore, if you work being ignorant of spiritual reality, Krishna does not say not work. Krishna is encouraging Arjuna to work, but understand who you are working for, what you are working for, what is the purpose of your life. Otherwise, you are considered to be sleeping. Apashyatam atmatattvam. You're sleeping ignorant to your spiritual reality. So that is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Jeev jago, Gora Chand bole. You're sleeping on the lap of the witch Maya. So Maya is happily making us sleep on her lap, and we are falling in illusion, sleeping. If somebody comes and asks, why don't you study Bhagavad Gita? Why don't you hear about Krishna? No, it's waste of time. I'm enjoying life. I'm nicely having sense gratification. The real problems they ignore. Janma mrityu jara vyadhi and adhyatmik adi bhautik adi daivi kleshas. So, of course, as Prabhupada mentions, like Goswamis of Vrindavan, for a layman, it's not possible to not sleep at all or sleep only 2 hours like the Goswamis or even Prabhupada. He was practically only sleeping 2 or 3 hours and he was writing throughout the night, translating Srimad Bhagavatam. It's not possible for a conditioned soul like us. So, what about us? Should we imitate these acharyas? Oh, Krishna is saying, the Shastras are saying, Sukadeva Goswami is saying, sleep is like a python, or we are sleeping on the lap of which Maya, as Bhaktivinoda Thakur says. What should we do? So, Bhagavad Gita advises, it's meant for everyone. So, Krishna advises in Bhagavad Gita that for a sadhaka, one should not imitate an advanced soul, but one should follow the rigors given by the spiritual master. One should have everything in balance. In the sixth chapter, Krishna says, Natyashnatastu yogosti nachaikantam anashnatah nachati swapnashilasya jagrato naiva charjuna. What it means is one should have food ashnataha and swapnashilasya means one who is dreaming, that means in sleep. So one should moderate. One should not have too much, nor one should have less. Yuktahara viharasya yukta chestasya karmasu yukta swapnavabodhasya yogo bhavati dukkhaha. Yukta means proper, regulated. Ahara, vihara, swapna means sleep. Because if you don't regulate, the human life will gradually degrade towards animal life. We get this human body to practice self realization to overcome animalistic tendencies. It's like a bridge. The human body is like a bridge from where we can go from this material world to the spiritual world. Asatoma sadgama, tamasima jyotirgama. But if in the name of material advancement we become more animalistic in this world, the modern civilization, what is modern civilization? Just think about it. Building nice skyscrapers, nice eating, advanced eating, advanced mating, advanced defending with nuclear weapons. It is all nothing but eating, sleeping, mating, defending, although in a very nice way. But see the irony, the more they are planning to eat nicely, the more nature is restricting in terms of diseases like diabetes, blood pressure, heart diseases, obesity. It's so many diseases. As you get old, we all realize so many ailments. And we are asked to cut down on our eating, do more activity, more austerity. Now, fasting has become the order of the day, intermittent fasting. So, you have to be active, you have to work hard, you have to reduce your intake. So, why? The more we are trying to enjoy, the more nature is giving restriction. That means human body is not meant just to enjoy like an animal. It's meant for regulation. It's designed like that. If you want enjoyment like an animal, in the next birth, you will be given the body of an animal. You can enjoy like anything. You can sleep. A koala bear sleeps 22 hours a day. A pig can eat whatever it wants without discrimination. A pigeon can mate how many ever times it wants without discrimination. So nature will give you an animal body if you don't practice regulation. So Bhagavad Gita says you start with regulation, yuktahara vihara. And Srila Prabhupada has simplified the whole process for us in Krishna consciousness. We just take food offered to the Lord. That is our yuktahara. That is our regulation of food. We don't eat anything outside. It's wonderful. Once you offer food to the Lord, it's nectarian. It purifies us. It fulfills. It gives us spiritual realization. Similarly, sleep. When you control your food and your times of the day eating, eat early and sleep early, you can overcome sleep. You can wake up early for Mangalarati. That is the regulation of sleep. Sleep early and wake up early for Mangalarati. Or at least if you are not waking up for Mangalarati, you should have a plan. Start waking up maybe 1 or 2 days a week. Like on a Saturday in temple, we have this morning program. Plan to come for that program. Otherwise, if you don't practice this regulation, have a proper plan with the association of devotees, life will just go on. And at the end of life, we look back and see, oh, unfortunately, we have not made any tangible progress. So we should not repent for that. So Krishna will help. All we have to do is place ourselves, as I said, the palm turned towards Krishna. Then Krishna will help us. Tesham evanukampardham aham agnanajam tamaha nashayami atma bhavastho gnana deepena bhashvata. Krishna says, for those who are endeavoring to engage in sincere devotional service of Krishna, tesham eva anukampardham, to show them special mercy, I remove their ignorance. Aham agnanajam tamaha nashayami, because I am there in their hearts. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has simplified the whole thing in this Kali Yuga. All one has to do is start chanting the holy name of Krishna. If one is confused, what do I need to do right now? Everything starts to happen when one starts to regularly chant Hare Krishna mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And then Prabhupada also talks about this concept of samadhi, talking about Arjuna. As a great devotee of Krishna, he could not forget Krishna even for a moment because that is the nature of a devotee. Either in waking or in sleep, a devotee of the Lord can never be free from thinking of Krishna's name, form, quality, and pastimes. Thus, a devotee of Krishna can conquer both sleep and ignorance simply by thinking of Krishna constantly. This is called Krishna consciousness or samadhi. So, this is samadhi. So, sometimes people mistake samadhi means, a great yogi or a Baba or, whatever, whoever it is. He goes into samadhi, means he has died and they will place him in samadhi. Oh, that is what is called samadhi. People don't know what actually really samadhi is. So here it is defined. Thus, a devotee of Krishna can conquer both sleep and ignorance simply by thinking of Krishna constantly. This is called Krishna consciousness or samadhi. So, if you're always thinking of Krishna by your activities, then it is called samadhi. Like there was one person who used to come to our temple. So, one time they came and I asked why you couldn't come last few days. And so they were saying, oh, we went to this place where they practice Mauna Vrata. So there was some retreat and they had gone to that place where they practice Mauna Vrata. You have to stay silent and meditate and all of that. And you should not talk with anybody. And you should only communicate with some signals. And then they were very relieved actually after coming back from that place because they were reaching to talk. They could not maintain it for a long time. And once they come back, there is no Mauna Vrata. You can talk how much ever you want. That means whatever you're practicing is ultimately not going to be used in the end. Because as a living entity, we want to talk and we cannot restrict ourselves from talking. Similarly, you can sit and meditate for maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes without thinking anything, looking at light or candle, but it's not practical. How can you be in constant samadhi? Prabhupada explains that samadhi is possible when you engage in service of Krishna, always thinking about Krishna through that service. He wrote one letter to devotees about their activities in distributing his books. So he said that this book distribution that you are doing in Los Angeles during the 6 day period is transcendental samadhi. They're working in trance, not on the material platform. No common man can work so hard. It is not possible. Working without sleep means no death. Sleeping is dead condition. Your book distribution is really intoxication. So he's saying book distribution is samadhi. And in another purport to Srimad Bhagavatam, he says, one should engage in practical service to the Lord. In our Krishna consciousness movement, all our activities are concentrated upon distributing Krishna literature. This is very important. One may approach any person and induce him to read Krishna literature so that in the future he also may become a devotee. Such activities are recommended in this verse. Such activities will always remind the devotees of the Lord's lotus feet. By fully concentrating on distributing books for Krishna, one is fully absorbed in Krishna. This is samadhi. In other words, Prabhupada saying, such activities will always remind the devotees of the Lord's lotus feet. So the encouragement, the ask is that you engage in activities, not refrain from it, but activities in relation to Krishna, a service to Krishna. Thereby, one becomes fully absorbed in thinking of Krishna. This is called samadhi. See how powerful the Krishna consciousness process is. We don't have to stop working. We don't have to stop doing anything. It's just any activity we do for Krishna, then we get to think of Krishna. That is practical samadhi. So, what Arjuna achieved, we can all achieve by taking up this path of Krishna consciousness. I'll stop here. Anyone has any questions or comments, they can unmute and or press *6 if you're on phone, or you can put it in your chat window. Right. Bhagavad Gita as it is ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.